Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are really excited to we love the opportunity to brag about Polar Latitudes, and then of course speak about the last true wilderness on the planet, which is Antarctica. So thank you so much for joining us today. Just a few housekeeping notes. Everyone is muted, and we will take questions at the end of the presentation. Also, while we are doing the presentation, we are going to stop the video so that we can focus on the actual presentation. So my name is Lana. I am part of our sales team here at Polar Latitudes. I have been in the polar industry now for almost 20 years. It sounds a little crazy when I say that out loud, because that was not the original plan for my life. I was supposed to have been an interior decorator and follow my mother's footsteps, but instead I'm here playing in the ice. So last week was actually my anniversary year with Polar Latitudes. So I joined Polar Latitudes 6 years ago. Also on this webinar is Connie, who will introduce herself shortly. And Tim is online also, just facilitating the questions. So how's it, Connie, over on the West Coast?
Yes, hello everyone. Welcome also from my side. So yes, my name is Connie. I work alongside Lana and Tim in the sales team, and my Antarctica journey started 8 years ago, actually, when I took my mom down to Antarctica on a PL trip. Yeah, and what can I say? I mean, look at my background. The place really just got under my skin, and the passion and enthusiasm of the team. It just made me realize I needed to change something about my life. So I did, and I had my very first interview actually on the trip for an onboard position, and yeah, the rest is history. So I work during the season, I work on the ship actually as part of the expedition team. And then in the rest of the year, I basically just tell everyone about Antarctica and why they should visit and why they should travel with us. So that's what we're here to do today as well. And I'm gonna hand back to Lana.
All right, next slide, please, Tim. So the question we always get asked is, how do you even get to Antarctica? Well, your expedition actually starts in the southernmost city in the world, which is Ushuaia. Ushuaia is located in Argentina, in the Tierra del Fuego province. So really, because of its geographical location, it serves as a gateway to Antarctica. If you live in the US, I'm based in the US, so if you live in the US, there are direct flights from major airports into Buenos Aires. You will then need to transfer to the local airport in Buenos Aires for your flight into Ushuaia. So the flight time from BA to Ushuaia is typically about 3.5 hours in the air. Next slide, please, Tim. So when you land on day one of your itinerary, our staff in Ushuaia will greet you at the airport, and they will transfer you over to probably the best resort in Ushuaia. I haven't seen anything better than the Aracor Resort and Spa. We include 2 nights at the Aracor Resort and Spa. This is included in your expedition cost. It is a luxurious property that's located in Ushuaia. It is situated on a hill that overlooks the city and the Beagle Channel. It really is, it takes a level of stress away when you have these 2 extra nights at the hotel. My recommendation is when you check in to the hotel, please sign up for their free guided hiking tour that they offer on the property. The property just offers the most breathtaking panoramic views of the surrounding natural landscape. And it really is just, it's nestled within this vast natural reserve, and it really allows our guests to explore the surrounding forest on the property. So it really is a very, very tranquil retreat. And it's just the perfect hotel to relax after your long travel time to try and get into Ushuaia. Next slide, please. Now for the most exciting part, day 3 on your itinerary. We transfer you as a group to the port to embark on this just amazing, historic, purpose-built expedition ship. I am so excited to be talking about the Sea Venturer. I have been on 3 different ice strengthened expedition ships, but I have to say that the Sea Venturer is by far my favorite. She is just so elegant and yet powerful. And, you know, one of my favorite memories of being on a ice strengthened ship is to actually stand on the bow and watch her navigate through the icy waters. So you are really, really in for a treat being on the ship. We are one of the very few companies in the industry to operate a purpose-built expedition ship that accommodates under 150 passengers. So she gets into the nooks and crannies of Antarctica where larger ships cannot. She just has such an amazing history. She was built in Japan and was one of the first purpose-built expedition ships to be built during that time. Next slide, please. So as great as the ship is, and I love bragging about her, she just serves as a platform for an immersive experience in Antarctica. We at Polar Latitudes, we do not want you to spend all your time in Antarctica on a ship. Listen, future explorers, listen to me, who want to explore in Antarctica. Antarctica is expensive. Booking an expedition to Antarctica is an investment, because typically for our clients, this is typically one and done for them. A lot of our clients spend their entire lives saving up for a trip like this. And that said, that's a huge investment, and that is a huge responsibility for us. So we really have to get this right. So we take your investment very seriously. Do you know that Polar Latitudes, on average, our twice daily excursions are among the longest in the industry? That's more than 3 hours per day per outing. That's more than 6 hours total each day. That is absolutely just one of the most immersive experiences that you can get with Polar Latitudes. I'm going to hand over the baton to Connie, because Connie's lucky enough to call Antarctica her second home. So next slide, and Connie, over to you.
Thanks, Lana. Yes, exactly. And you know, to make this all come to life, I mean, we have this fabulous ship, as Lana mentioned, but you know, when it comes down to it, it actually comes down to the experience of the expedition team. And I tell you why. So basically, we operate in this really wild, very remote place, right? And weather is completely unpredictable. So that requires flexibility. It requires the team to very often rethink, replan, reposition the ship and everything else And we don't want clients to miss out, right? So we need an experienced team. We need people who are knowledgeable about alternative landing sites, about the hidden bays, right? Because if the weather goes and does not cooperate with our plan A, we need to go to plan B and sometimes to plan C. And we have seen it. We have seen it with less experienced teams on other ships where they just end up canceling an outing, an excursion, because they don't know what else there is to do. They don't know where else to go. And so the key here is really that just being on a ship in Antarctica literally does not mean that you will have the same experience. So it is absolutely crucial that you go with a company that have an experienced expedition team. And we are so proud because our average experience in the team is 13 years of operating down there. And it's just fantastic. So, you know, we just draw on that. And so ultimately, Tim, you can go to the next slide. What we want to deliver on, and I know this might sound a little bit cheesy, but we call them magic moments, right? And so from personal experience, at the end of every single voyage, every guest talks about these very special moments that were, you know, very special to them, that kind of, again, got under their skin, that stayed with them, that made them completely breathless. And I know this sounds crazy, but you will see when you get there. It's the moments when, let's say you get to South Georgia and you step off the Zodiac, and all of a sudden you're surrounded by 400, 500,000 king penguins and, you know, fighting elephant seals all around you. It's like stepping into a Nat Geo documentary. And people, I've seen it, people cannot even move because their brain cannot catch up to what's happening around them. Or it's, you know, you're in a Zodiac on a Zodiac cruise and you have an encounter with a humpback whale, you know, this really personal encounter with this magic, you know, gigantic animal. And, you know, these are the moments I'm talking about. Or like in this picture where people are, you know, very still in these waters, in these glassy, icy waters, and all they can hear is the silence of Antarctica. Those are the moments that people talk about at the end of the voyage. And there is this common thread. And the common thread is that no one talks about any moment on the ship. Like these moments that are literally sometimes life-changing for people, they always happen off the ship. And so our mission is it to maximize these opportunities that we have to get people off the ship. Like Lana said, you know, twice a day, 3 hours minimum. I mean, as often as possible, as long as possible. So I think this is really what it comes down to when you pick your company. You know, this is our mission, is it to immerse yourself in this absolutely wonderful place. Next slide, please. And we know, as Lana mentioned, it comes at a price tag, and everyone has different expectations. Everyone defines luxury differently, but for us, it's about meeting the expectations and personalizing it. So we have people with different fitness levels, for example. So being able to offer small group hikes for these different levels, or, you know, offering, you know, just a more flexible schedule. So a lot of other ships, a lot of other operators, they have to stick to certain schedules. For us, for example, if the weather window looks favorable, we may do a very early landing before breakfast, and then we'll have brunch. Or we will, you know, just grab every opportunity. Let's say we come back from a landing and then on the way we see humpback whales. So we will not go back, even though dinner might be ready. We will get people back into a Zodiac so everyone can just, you know, take this opportunity and be with the animals and just maximize it. So again, for us, that is the luxury, the luxury of the experience down there. Next slide, please. And then something that is very, very dear to us as well is the sustainability aspect of the operation. And I think that comes in two folds. So one is the education program that we offer on board. We really, really want people to walk away having learned something about these special places. And to do that, we actually have everyone in the team is an expert in their field. So for example, we have an ornithologist, and this person would be educated and trained in that discipline. We have, marine mammal specialists, and they have a background in marine biology. Our historians, they will have studied polar history. So it just elevates the learning for guests, because they learn from experts, right? But then on another level, we offer what we call the citizen science program. So that basically gets people actively involved. You can see it here in the picture. So we offer a range of projects that the team will offer on board, and it's essentially participating in actual meaningful research. So it's small groups, it's free to participate for our guests. Some will, be part of every single project. Some may have just, an interest in one or two, but it's just such a fantastic opportunity. And we find it really enriches the experience. So I'm happy to go into more detail, at the end, but I think we're gonna go and move on to a little video, just kind of summarizing what Lana and I just talked about. Rather than us kind of, talking about how wonderful we are, it's actually our guests that speak for that. So 97% of our guests will rate us as an overall absolutely excellent voyage. So that includes, you know, anything from the overall experience to the expedition team, to the crew, the hotel team, the food, the cabin, the ship, I mean, everything. So again, all these people will recommend us, or say they will recommend us to friends and family, and I think that speaks for itself.
We are also, you know, one of the easiest companies to work with. We actually answer the phone, and we are always available to answer questions. We have a live chat feature that our passengers and travel partners absolutely love. They love engaging with us on live chat. And we also have an amazing availability system for our travel partners who can access our live inventory. So next slide, please, Tim. So Connie, when I went to Antarctica, I did the Celebrating Antarctica itinerary. Which is your favorite?
That's a good question, Lana. Well, I think if I had the time and the necessary pocket change, definitely it would be Falkland, South Georgia, Antarctica, because it's actually, you have three very, very unique places in one trip, and I mean, that's hard to beat, right? You have South Georgia, and it's without a doubt the biggest wildlife zoo in the world. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. And then you have the Antarctic Peninsula, and, you know, with its ice and just the sheer scale of the place. It's like arriving at a different planet, quite honestly. But then you also have the Falkland Islands, and people always underestimate that place. And I just want to paint this one picture because it's just incredible. So basically, there's one landing spot where it looks like the Caribbean, right? Like you have a white sandy beach, you have turquoise water, but then you have king penguins on that beach. And then you turn around and there's like this grassy slope, and you have sheep grazing there. So you have penguins and sheep in one frame, and then you walk up and you visit an albatross colony, all in one little area. It's just unbelievable, and people don't know that about the Falklands. So I think, yeah, if I could choose, it would be that one. But of course, you know, I mean, the classic peninsula trips, you know, there's such a wonderful way to visit, you know, Antarctica and this last wilderness, the great white continent. I mean, it's after 8 seasons, yeah, I still cannot get enough of it.
No lack of wildlife on the shorter, you know, if you don't have that much vacation time, you're not going to miss out if you choose you know, Celebrating Antarctica versus South Georgia or the Falkland Islands. So yeah, no, you're in for a real treat on any one of these itineraries.
Yeah, absolutely. And the all access one is a new one for us. So that's going to be offered in 24-25. And I think this is going to be a really great one, especially maybe for the more active people. So basically what we will do there is we will include all of our adventure options. So camping, kayaking, snowshoeing, all in the price of the voyage. So everyone gets to try everything. So I think that's going to be a real good one as well. So yeah.
Great.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Now it's your turn to ask questions, and we will try and provide the answers.
Anyone?
Tim, are you there?
Yes, so far, no questions. Does anybody have any questions? You can either type them or unmute yourself. Oh, okay, question from Steve. How far in advance do you need to book?
That's a good question. The sooner you get in, the sooner we can lock everything up, and obviously it's all based on availability. If you're thinking for this upcoming season, there is a few voyages that are already almost fully booked. Usual lead time is about a year in advance, sometimes 2 years. So currently what we have is obviously the upcoming season will start in November. Run through to March. So we've got availability then on some of the voyages, and then we've also got 24, 25 live as well.
Yeah, and the sooner you book, the sooner you can take advantage of our early booking discounts that we are offering.
Perfect. Any other questions to anybody? You can either unmute or type a question. Nope, I think that's it.
Otherwise, yeah, just get in touch with us. We'd be happy to connect after the call one-on-one if there's any specific questions, anything, on an itinerary or on the adventure options. We'd be happy to, just dive deep one-on-one as well.
Perfect. Thank you everyone for joining us today, and we look forward to traveling with you to Antarctica. Have a good rest of your week.